Welcome back. I'm Andrew, your crypto guy on the internet. And we have a lot of big stories to catch up on. We have a market outlook to go over today. We have the DXY, the Euro, the Fed's outlook, what's going on in the world and how is it affecting the market. And then we're going to do an update on the Luna story, which continues to get more and more dramatic. This is going to be a Netflix series at some point. And then we're going to look at the open interest, the fear and greed index, all the usual good stuff. So we're going to start with the stock market. It's horrible. It's really bad, okay? And it's only going to get worse because the macro fears continue to get worse. The macro fears being the causes for this downturn in the market. China locking down everybody, and so we can't get any products from China. Supply chain issues exacerbated by that even further. The price of gas is out of control, and so everything that gets delivered on a truck is more expensive than ever. And then you have a party, the Democratic Party, who doesn't really know what's going on or what to do about it. And then, you have the war in Russia and Ukraine that continues to rage on. So until any one of those big stories changes, it's going to continue to go down, okay? So you're going to have these little stair steps. Let's look at the NASDAQ here. Now, I describe it as a slinky going downstairs. So it doesn't go straight down like a slide. It gives you little relief bumps in between. So if you look at the NASDAQ, it doesn't go straight down. You get these little slinky motions. These little are we going to be okay? No, you're not. So don't get trapped in these. This is when, hopefully you, DCA at the very bottom of these little nooks here, and then you take a tiny profit, or you're just shorting things all the way down. So you're either shorting things all the way down, or you're dollar cost averaging every time you see these little green bits, or don't buy and just wait because it's going to get worse here, all right? And this is directly matched, but the opposite. So I guess inversely correlated to the DXY. Now, what's going on with the DXY? This is telling us the macro picture of everything, okay? Compared to Bitcoin, compared to the NASDAQ. We look at the DXY first. Now, this won't help you on the day-to-day, but it will help you on the overall picture, the overall trend of how things are and where things are going, all right? So as we know, the DXY is the buying power compared to other major world currencies. And when there's mass uncertainty in the world, people turn to the dollar. They lean on the dollar. And then they go back into the bond market for 2.9% yield, which isn't even close compared to inflation. But if you look at the NASDAQ and the Dow, everything's plummeting, so the safest choice is to just have cash or invest in bonds, so you're losing less money, right? So the DXY was at raging strong at 104, even 105 there for a second, which is way too high. And if you look at the NASDAQ, let's look at a date here. March 31st, April 1st is when the dollar was just about hitting 100, and then it went on a major bull run. So let's look at this date here, April 1st, and then see how things went for the NASDAQ. All right, here we go. March 31st, April 1st. This is when the dollar is I'm strong now. Boom! Look at the NASDAQ's going straight down ever since the DXY's been taking off. Now let's look at Bitcoin. The same story, I bet, but not as bad. So right here, the dollar goes, I'm Super Saiyan now. And Bitcoin's going down. Now, it did have a little more resistance, some accumulation at certain levels. Right now, Bitcoin's cruising around 30,000, while the NASDAQ has been struggling a little more. So when everything's on fire, Bitcoin is burning a little less. So, it's still functioning as you'd think it'd be the first thing to go to zero because it's a speculative asset. Altcoins and Bitcoin are totally different in how they operate. So altcoins are being dumped. I mean, some are down 80, 90%, right? Because they are the most speculative assets. They're the most techie tech stuff out there. And so they're the first thing to get dumped in a portfolio when times are scary. But Bitcoin is different. It's a store of value. And so it's actually outperforming, or in this case, out-surviving the NASDAQ, which is a strong case for Bitcoin. Now, we did have a scare, a flash crash down about 25.5, and that was due to the Luna story, which we'll get into. But before I talk about that, the DXY should go back up, I think, about 104, like over the next week or two, but then ultimately cool off down to about 101, even 100, in the beginning of June, like the first or second week of June. So really just a few weeks. I'm predicting that the dollar cools off a little bit, and that's when you're going to get a bit of a relief rally for the stock market and cryptocurrencies, but it's going to fake a lot of people out. People are going to think, oh, we're good now, everything's great, and then we're going to get smacked because the dollar is still very bullish. It's just going to retrace a little and then continue going up, okay? And because these macro problems are still here. So unless the story on any one of the major problems we're facing changes, we'd have to see Russia and Ukraine come to a peaceful conclusion. Or we'd have to see China open up everybody, let everybody go back to work. We'd have to see that. Or we'd have to see Jerome Powell say he's going to go easy on us, which he just came out a couple days ago, said he's not going to go easy on us. He's going to stick to the plan, and that caused all new fears. So unless we get a major change of the storyline around the market, we're going to stay bearish. Things are going to keep going down, like this kind of stair-step stuff. And the DXY will continue to be a stronger asset because people are going to hide in cash if they can. Now the euro, they raised their rates too, and so they're competing a little more with the dollar. The euro guys are saying that the DXY is too high, of course. And this competition, this near parity between the euro and the dollar, should cause a temporary cool-off of the DXY over the next, 3 or 4 weeks, which is what I'm basing my prediction on, okay? So where's Bitcoin's price going to be? First week of June, maybe second week of June, I'm thinking we might even go back up to around 35,000. And that's going to bring a lot of hopeful YouTube videos on there, thinking that, hey, this is the new bull market. It's not. So it's just going to be a big relief rally and then ultimately get smashed back down even further. So I don't know how far down Bitcoin can go, but it really depends on how the stock market does too. Now, how far is the NASDAQ going to go? I mean, it could go back down to where we were before the pandemic, okay? And that would be cheese and rice. Right around 9,600, maybe a little lower than that due to overall fears. So we got a ways to go, people. We got another $2,000 to fall for the NASDAQ. That's 10, 20. That means Bitcoin would be at 23,000, 24,000. And it could go down to the previous highs of 21,000. I'm still thinking those same things. And then I'm seeing a lot of big people saying we're going to go even further down to 12,000 or something. I still don't see any evidence of that. Now, Bitcoin would fall down to seriously low numbers if we had a hot war with Russia, like nuclear bombs flying everywhere. Then all bets are off on no matter what asset you have, right? But assuming we're all still alive, I think Bitcoin's going to out-survive. I wouldn't say outperform, but do better in terms of failing less than the NASDAQ and the Dow. And so far, that is true. So although the NASDAQ is plummeting, you'd think Bitcoin, because it's pure tech speculation asset, according to everybody on TV, you'd think Bitcoin would be doing far worse and is actually performing better than the NASDAQ. They're both lousy, but Bitcoin is less lousy. All right, so let's look at the big box stores. What's going on in reality? Good Lord. Okay, you thought it was just tech taking a dump. No, man. So if you have a store like Target or Walmart and everything on the shelf is delivered by a truck, and then diesel prices are the highest they've ever been, well, the quarterly report comes out, the earnings and the revenue report, and they go, yeah, things aren't looking good. We're going to have to start laying people off. We're looking at a recession here. And so the stock fell. This is Target. 254 down to 153 in a very short amount of time. How about Walmart? Right? Everybody goes to Walmart, right? Oh, God. Okay, so we have 160 down to 119. That's insane. That's a huge fall. My word. That looks like Luna. Speaking of Luna, we have a little bit of an update on that story. So there was this image floating around the internet of a form that was sent to the South Korean government asking for Terra Labs, this is from Do Kwon, sending in a form to dissolve Terra Labs in South Korea because he wanted to move it to Singapore. And his reason for doing that is Singapore is more lenient on taxes. They don't tax you nearly as much in Singapore. And Do Kwon was trying to leave because he didn't want to pay as many taxes, right? Fair enough. But then 3 days later, that attack happened on Luna and UST, and he lost all his money. Everybody lost all their money. And he dumped 2.4 of the $3 billion worth of Bitcoin he had in reserves to try and save it, and failed. So now his Luna is worthless, his UST is worthless, and now the South Korean government is coming after him for $78 million in back taxes. So he's in a really bad spot. And so then at the same time, you have all these lunatics, people that hold Luna and UST going, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, where's my money? This needs to go back up. You need to fix this. And so every day, the Terra Labs team and Do Kwon and everybody that works on this stuff is trying to come up with a plan to save everybody. And we had a couple different ways to go about it, but the one that Do Kwon really wants to do, and this is what's going to happen, is create a fork in the blockchain and just start over with a new Luna coin. So it's like Luna 2.0, and that's going to have a fixed supply of 1 billion, not the current one that we have that's like hyperinflated up to 7 trillion or something insane, and so nothing's worth anything. He goes, we're going to create a fork in the blockchain and start over. And people are going, well, what am I going to do with my old shit? And he goes, well, I can kind of send you some of the new stuff over 2 years' time. People, that's not going to cut it, man. And so people are really mad at him. They're like, you need to start super burning all these extra Luna coins that your algorithm cranked out to try to save UST. It went feral, failed, and now nobody has any money. So he's going, let's just start over with this new thing with some new guardrails in place. And that sounds smart long term, but right now everybody's very upset at him. And so why would Do Kwon do that? I think because he's desperate to come up with some quick value so he can pay the South Korean government. Okay, if he owes them $78 million in taxes, maybe he thought dissolving Terra Labs and then moving it to Singapore, he would avoid some of these taxes. But no, here comes the bill, and a month ago, he would have paid that no problem with the money in his wallet. But now he's penniless, and he's desperate to fix his project, and people are yelling at him everywhere. So, yeah, people are like, it's a Ponzi scheme. He Bernie Madoff with all the money. No, he didn't. He's getting chased. He doesn't have any money. Somebody knocked on his door. His wife answered. Somebody who lost millions of dollars had to call the cops on him. It's real bad. So, like, this guy's in a tight spot. This is the perfect photo for him right now. So, if you hold Luna, that's going to be called Luna Classic. And then, so that original blockchain will continue to exist. But nobody knows who's going to operate Luna Classic. Are the developers going to leave? Are they going to stick with the old Luna? Are they going to move to the new Luna? Or are they just going to jump over to like Polygon or Ethereum or something? Because they have a lot of great talent over it at Luna. Their developers and their dApps are awesome. But if the underlying structure has failed, then a bunch of computer nerds are going like, I'll just get a different job, dude. And so Do Kwon has to convince everybody to stick with him, both as retail investors and as developers. And he has to convince the South Korean government to not cut his nuts off over back taxes. So he has to create a split in the blockchain, start over something new to hopefully generate some quick value so he can sell them all off, which is going to kill the value to pay his taxes. Jeez. So we've had blockchain forks in the past. Bitcoin's done it a couple times, and it resulted in Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and I think one more. But no one cares about any of those. Like, forks don't usually do very well. The only fork that worked out well was Ethereum. So we had the original Ethereum, and then there was a hack problem, and they fixed the hack. And then you have Ethereum Classic and this new Ethereum, and that's what we currently use. Ethereum Classic's worth like $20, and Ethereum proper, after the fork, is now worth a few grand. And that's the future of cryptocurrency, according to most people. So there's one instance where a fork worked out well, And that's what Do Kwon's trying to do with his Luna. So, we're going to have to watch what happens to him, but he's a very stressed out kid, and I wish him the best. Global open interest was chilling out for a while. It looked like we were ready for a nice reset. I mean, we were down to like 10 billion across every major exchange. It's kind of picked up a little bit, and I think that's just because of recent minor positivity. But things are generally pretty mellow right now as people are waiting for something to happen. Are we going to fall down further? Are we going to get some good news? Is Putin going to chill out? Like, give us something positive, please, because it's only ugly. But it could be much worse than it is. But maybe we have room to fall further, and according to global open interest, we do have a little more room to fall further. The Fear and Greed Index, slight improvement up to 13, which is extreme fear. But a few days ago, we were at 8. 8. At 5, people start eating each other. It's cannibalism at 5. So we were almost there. We went down to 8. And then we chilled out. Now we're back at 13, which is just typical extreme fear. So we're just going to have to watch the market. Overall, like I said, the DXY is probably going to cool off a little bit here it's still going to run hot, but then I'm thinking first or second week of June, I think we see a small relief rally, but the macro picture is still very bad. Okay, so don't buy in thinking that we're saved. It's just a little blip to hopefully take some local profits for yourself as we continue to slide down into hell. Okay, and then the last thing, another reminder. Okay, Amazon. Look at this. They got to deliver everything on trucks too, right? They're taking a dump. But Amazon's not going anywhere. I mean, you can click on a picture of something you want, and then it's outside your house the next day. That's amazing. That's not going anywhere. And so, although Amazon is technically a tech stock, it's like half Walmart at the same time, because they have to facilitate products of every kind from everywhere in the world, and they have to get it to your house within a day or two for free. It's absolutely insane what they do. So I bought a share of Amazon at right around this price, like $21.50, because their split is happening soon. And although the post-split price, which will be like $100-something, because all the shares are getting divided by 20, that will show up on the market by June 6th. But if you want to participate in the split, apparently you have to have Amazon stock by May 27th. So buy I'm not saying do this, but if you were to get Amazon stock, you could get some before May 27th. So May 26th is your deadline to participate in that split where your one share becomes 20 shares. And then once Amazon's $100 a share, you have a lot of people that want Amazon but could not afford it at $2,000 a piece. But at $100, $150, you can get a couple of those. So you're going to have a lot of new small-time buyers, okay? Which makes the price go up very quickly. Not back to $2,000 right away, but it's only like $100 for the first 10 minutes, okay? And then it's $250, $300. Oh, I just bumped my mic. But no, I don't know exactly what the price is going to be. But if you're going to make a move and you want to sit on some stock for a while, this Amazon split, this is the juicy move of the season. So I wholeheartedly recommend that one. Although none of this is financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm going to participate in this split because it's just too juicy. Other than that, guys, good luck out there. I'll keep doing my research, keep trying to keep you guys abreast of the situation. But we're looking at a bear market here probably the next year, 2 years, unless something major changes. And right now, I don't see evidence of any of that. So good luck out there. Go to work, feed your kids, stay home. You'll be all right.